Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited, civilian drone hits firefighting aircraft over Palisades Fire. Verijet forced to chalk up $3.4 million after court ruling. Performers step up for EAA AirVenture 2025. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Civilian drone hits firefighting aircraft over Palisades Fire. A firefighting aircraft operating over the Palisades Fire in LA is grounded and out of service due to a mid-air drone strike by a civilian drone not assigned to the fire. The aircraft, a Canadair CL-415 Super Scooper, landed safely with no injuries. The left wing of the aircraft was damaged by the drone at about 1 p.m. on January 9th, and the FAA says it will investigate the incident. The agency said in a statement, quote, "The FAA has not authorized anyone unaffiliated with the Los Angeles firefighting operations to fly drones in the TFRs. The FAA treats these violations seriously and immediately considers swift enforcement action for these offenses," end quote. The FAA has activated several TFRs in the area to protect firefighting aircraft, and it said, quote, "All other aircraft, including drones, are prohibited from flying in the TFRs unless they receive authorization," end quote. Eric Scott, a spokesman for the LA Fire Department, said, quote, "We would like to remind everyone that flying a drone in the midst of firefighting efforts is a federal crime and punishable by up to 12 months in prison or a fine of up to $75,000, end quote. After the break, FBI investigating threats against SpaceX Starship.
Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family, the M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits with more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most: time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
I'm currently using the Hartzell Talon, by far the best aerobatic propeller ever come out.
I use the Trailblazer. It adds performance to the Super Decathlon and dependability, and it's rugged.
Hartzell's been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demand.
It's helping us all have better performing airplanes.
It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. FBI investigating threats against SpaceX Starship. The FBI is looking into threats by several individuals against SpaceX's Starship and Starbase. The Bureau said possible bomb threats set to occur on Christmas Eve were mentioned by a witness near the launch site. The FBI is working with local law enforcement and other partners to address the threats. The agency said, quote, "While we are working to carefully vet and investigate the information we have received, we want to reiterate that the safety and security of the American people is the FBI's highest concern," end quote. SNC delivers first SAOC replacement aircraft. Sierra Nevada Corporation reached a milestone in the U.S. Air Force's Survivable Airborne Operations Center project with the delivery of the first Boeing 747-8i aircraft to Wichita State University's National Institute for Aviation Research in Wichita, Kansas. The selection of SNC by the USAF is one of the largest aircraft modernization contracts awarded to a company other than the OEM. SNC has historically championed open systems, innovation, speed, and lifecycle cost competitiveness. Navy sending Helos to help California firefighting efforts. The Department of Defense has authorized the use of U.S. Navy helicopters to help fight wildfires in California, and 10 of its MH-60S Seahawks are being sent, according to DoD officials. The helicopters will be fitted with buckets for delivering water to the fires, but it is not yet known from which installations the helicopters will be deployed or when they might arrive on scene. The helicopters were authorized following directions to the DoD to provide firefighting personnel and assets. CAF announces total for 12 planes of Christmas. Good news comes from the Commemorative Air Force. Its annual 12 Planes of Christmas fundraiser that concluded on January 1st, 2025, raised over $435,000, including more than $40,000 dedicated to the Restoration Grant Fund. Donations are continuing to roll in. Multiple aircraft met or exceeded their fundraising goals with the generosity of more than 1,700 donors who are avid about moving these restoration projects forward. The funds will go directly to supporting the preservation and operation of historic aircraft. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Verijet forced to chalk up $3.4 million after court ruling. After a December court ruling was finalized, Verijet was forced to hand over $3.4 million to Vision Leasing 241. Verijet launched in 2022 and grew rapidly, becoming the 30th largest charter service in the U.S. by 2022. Just a year later, the light jet operator moved up to the 13th position. However, the year since has been rocky, to say the least, with the company now only operating a few SF-50s. It also had a brief scare when its founder and CEO, Richard Kane, stepped down and then back into the role shortly after. The latest ruling was the result of a lengthy legal battle between Verijet and Vision Leasing 241, sparked by a breach of their aircraft lease contract. Vision Leasing 241 was represented by former Verijet board member Mark Cahan. The court found that the jet operator owed damages for unpaid rent, future rent, and tax losses, totaling $5.9 million. After accounting for mitigation efforts, the net damages were $2.89 million, with an additional $395,000 in interest, bringing the total to $3.29 million. The final judgment awarded Vision Leasing $3.45 million, including interest, up to the trial date. The court also ruled against Verijet's defenses and counterclaims, granting no relief to the defendant. After these messages, performers step up for AirVenture 2025.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
Welcome back. Performers step up for AirVenture 2025. EAA announced several updates to the performance roster for this year's AirVenture Oshkosh Airshow. The week-long celebration features 9 airshows, with 2 being after dark on July 23rd and 26th. The others are daily afternoon events. Notable appearances include Randy Ball flying the MiG-17, Jerry Conley in the de Havilland Vampire, and Greg Collier showcasing the T-33. Warbird enthusiasts can expect performances from the class of 45 with the Corsair and P-51, Vicky Benzing's P-51 routine, and Bernie Vasquez in another historic Warbird. Aerobatic displays will include Rob Holland in the MXS-RH, Michael Gouldian in the Extra, and Skip Stewart's Prometheus II. Additional acts include the Northern Stars team in Pitt Specials, the Titan Aerobatics team flying T-6 Texans, and several solo aerobatic pilots like Bill Stein in the Edge 540 and Philip Steinbach in the GB-1 Gamebird. Of course, airshow legends like Kyle Franklin and various skydiving performances will be making appearances to round out the week's fun. Rick Larson, EAA's VP of Communities and Member Programs, said, quote, "Regardless of the day during AirVenture Week, aviation enthusiasts coming to Oshkosh know that the air shows will be filled with tremendous sights and sounds, as well as extraordinary pilots and legendary aircraft." End quote. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.